Guys, we're glad to have you back on another episode of the Community Stream. I know last week we had our rebroadcast of our first 7 episodes. I hope you guys enjoyed that. For any of you that had a chance to take a peek, we've certainly been getting more into the swing of things as things are starting to open back up. Summertime busyness is definitely taken over a little bit for some of us trying to bring this programming to you. We want to continue to try to strive to bring you good quality stuff, and we may look at doing more spaced out episodes from this point forward, but we would like to continue to keep doing the community stream. What we need from you is we need a little help. We would like to see some folks volunteer to send us in some videos on the Where Are We Now section. We would also love to, if you've got some things that you would like to come be a part of, if you're involved in anything, would fall under our Helping Hands section, where you can tell some folks about some things that are going on in our area to help the citizens of our community and some of the other things that we're doing. Also, we are going to continue to have the encouraging word be an aspect of our community stream. So we've been fortunate to have a lot of really great guys come in and contribute to that as well. And today we're going to have another great episode of an encouraging word with Benny Baker, the pastor out at the CircleBack Baptist Church. So we're excited for that. Today we've also got a brother and sister duo, is Seth Sowder and Skylar Sowder are both going to be featured in a Where Are They Now episode. And we're going to have each one of them as they've sent in videos so you guys can hear from them and hear what's going on in their life. Also wanted to let you know some good things have been going on since we started the community stream. We've had some donations come in to support our Sudan senior meals, which, it really never was our intention by putting this on here for this to be a means to try to, hit people up for donations. But we were fortunate enough to have some folks reach out to us after we featured Cheryl Sowder a few weeks ago talking about the Sudan senior meals, and we appreciate that so much for those of you that did donate. Thank you. That is such an important ministry in our community that's really taken part in by people from all the different churches in the community. So thank you so much for doing that. One other thing before we go into the rest of our program, and I just felt like it would be important to kind of take a step back, look at kind of where we are now compared to where we were when this all started. I know there's been a lot happen in the last 8 to 9 weeks, and it's been kind of hard to process a lot of the things that are going on. But I think that we see in a lot of good ways that in some capacity things haven't been quite as bad as what we might have thought that they might have been so far. Hopefully that's going to continue to be the pattern. I want to encourage each and every one of you to just find a way to continue to just being vigilant. Let's try to support those that need our help around us, but also I know that we're going to have to work hard to try to, not only get back to where we were before this, but get to a point where we're even in a better place than we were when all this started with the coronavirus. One of the good things that comes from it is stuff like what we've done here with Sudan Neighbors to Neighbors, something that we hope can continue to be an outreach to people that are not just from here, but in other parts of the country. I know there for a while there was a lot of activity going on when we first started this up, but I hope we can continue to keep the communication lines open, as I know that there's so many good things that are going to be going on here in the future. Hopefully we'll be looking at a possible harvest celebration in the fall, and school will hopefully be back up and running in the fall. So there's a lot of things that we don't know for sure yet. I think each one of us is praying for blessings on all this, but most importantly, I just want to thank each and every one of you for your support in what we've been doing, and each and every one of y'all are important to us. So thanks again for joining us. We look forward to this episode, and I hope you enjoy this week's episode of the Community Stream.
Hi, I'm Seth Sowder, class of 2005. I'd like to say hello to everybody. Thank you, Monty. Thank you, Donna, for having me do this. I'm working here at Lance Insurance Agency and also farming southwest of town down at Beulah. I raise cotton and grain sorghum and farm just under 1,500 acres there. My wife, Megan, is the elementary school counselor. We're raising 2 daughters right now, Maddie and Sterling, and we've got baby number 3, baby Cam, on the way. She should be here in late August, so we're excited about that. This COVID situation really has been something that, the family and I, we've decided at this point we're not going to live in fear, but we're going to live intelligently. Here in the office, we've actually closed down the foot traffic part of it for about a month, and recently just reopened back up to normal business operations, and stepped up some sanitation processes here in the office. During the time that we were kind of closed to the public, we still maintained all of our normal deadlines, and stepped up on some technology to meet the need for those folks, and still continue to do business over the phone. And so luckily, we didn't see much change in our business, just kind of different to not have people walking in the door. And so we're glad to hopefully get back to some normalcy there. My remember when moment is, from Sudan School, is Mary Powell and Kathy Dugan's enchiladas on Fridays. And I still remember that vividly, and kind of miss having those. I think what I remember most, and probably what I treasured the most at Sudan, was just that we were held to a certain level, a certain standard. That was kind of a standard of excellence. And that's, I experienced that all the way through school, and it just seems like all the staff really, that they cared about where we ended up. And that's something that helped me, tremendously through me, through my college career, and then getting into the real world. And so it's something that, I think is really important. It's really special about Sudan. That just a standard of excellence. Again, thank you, Donna, and thank you, Monty, for doing this. Appreciate the opportunity to contribute here, and hope everybody stays safe and has a good summer. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Skylar Sowder, and I graduated from Sudan High School in 2009. First off, thanks Donna and Monty for spearheading this effort to keep the community connected through this difficult circumstance. And secondly, I just want to give my mom, Cheryl Sowder, a shout out for the great work that she's doing with the Sudan Senior Meals. She was featured on a few episodes ago, and I know that there's a lot of other folks who are working with her to fill this need in the community, but keep up the great work. I'm very proud of all of y'all and all the work that you're doing. But a little bit about me, I graduated from Sudan in 2009 and went to Texas Tech University after that. And after I graduated from Tech in 2013, I moved to Washington, D.C., where I work on Capitol Hill and work in agriculture policy. So when COVID-19 hit up here, while it hasn't been as bad as it has been in places like New York City, it still has changed the way that this city has operated. Simply when you live in a place where so many people take the metro or other public transportation to get to work and to get back home, and whenever you have so many more people living in such a more condensed area than in West Texas, where we're a little bit more spread out, there's got to be changes made. And so my job has gone 100% to telework, and we're really not sure when things will kind of get back to normal like they were before. And for instance, my husband, he does some work overseas and was actually in Africa when a lot of these countries were implementing travel bans and restrictions like that. So he was able, thankfully, to make it home back to the U.S. Safe and sound, which I was really, really thankful for. And overall, we just feel very, very blessed and very thankful that we both have our health and our job. I know that there's a lot of people out there who are struggling through this time, and so we feel very grateful to be in the situation that we're in. But when I think back on my time growing up in Sudan, I think the thing that I am most thankful for and that I miss the most are simply the people. The people are great, and they actually care about you whenever they say, hey, how are you doing? Whether you're, down at the bank or maybe the entrance office or the school. When I think back to some of my remember when type moments, they typically revolve around the school and whatever extracurricular activity I was participating in at that time. And so maybe it was basketball and it was the send-offs that we got when we went to state my junior and senior year. Or maybe it was the practices that were so grueling that Coach Steinbach and Coach Sisson put us through in track season. Or maybe it was going to area and state convention for FFA and showing cattle, across the state, or building metal projects in the shop with all the guys. Or maybe it was going to UIL accounting contests with Mrs. King or Mr. Province and making it to state. And I think the thing that ties all those together, regardless of whether it was with my peers and all the people that I was participating in those sports and activities and things with, or the advisors and coaches and teachers and family friends and everyone like that was supporting it, is the people. And that's just really what I will always treasure. And I count myself lucky that I get to go back to Sudan at least a few times a year to visit family and all the good friends that I have there, because I definitely wouldn't be where I am today without all those people in the community. And I hope that everyone is staying safe and is healthy and continues to stay that way throughout this pandemic. And even though we may have to socially distance and not be within 6 feet of each other, that doesn't mean we have to be distant from each other. And so again, I'm just really thankful to Donna and Monty for doing this to connect people during this very, very uncertain time. But I appreciate y'all calling me, and I hope everyone stays safe and healthy. Thanks.
Hey guys, Benny Baker here with a word of encouragement for your day. I remember many years ago, back when I was in high school, I wasn't necessarily one of the cool kids. Yeah, I know, not much has changed since then. But I did want to be like the cool kids. And so, in order to try to be like the cool kids, I tried to dress like them, act like them, tried to be a cool kid. And so one of the things that was popular back then were jean shorts. And not just any jean shorts, but white jean shorts. Yeah, I know. Sounds hideous, right? So I bought a pair of these shorts so I could look like everybody else. There's only one problem. Back in those day and times, I wasn't necessarily the neatest person in the world. Okay, that might not has changed much either since then. But the funny thing is I tried numerous times to wear those shorts out to town. And I never once made it to town in those shorts. You see, since they were white, everything showed up on them. Any little spot of dirt, any bit of oil grease, it doesn't matter. Everything showed up, plain as day on them. And so I never once made it to town without getting them dirty. Sometimes I wouldn't make it out of my room without brushing up against something that had dirt on it, or if I made it out to my Jeep, I did not necessarily keep it the cleanest. And so oftentimes I'd brush up against the paint or something and get dirt on it before I could get to town. And so every time I tried to wear them, I ended up going back in the house, changing into my jeans, and re-washing those shorts. Matter of fact, I washed those shorts so many times that I wore them out without ever making it out of the house in them. Now, there's several things about that story that kind of makes me chuckle. One is the fashion sense we had in the late 80s and early 90s. Makes you wonder what in the world we were thinking. The other thing, though, that makes me kind of giggle is how hard I tried to be cool. See, I had a mental picture of what I needed to look like and be like in order to be good enough. And I think a lot of us still do. A lot of us spend our days and our times trying to measure up with some perfect ideal in our mind. We try to be handsome or pretty enough. We try to be successful enough. Try to be cool enough, have the right things. all so that we can be worthy. The Apostle Paul in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 9 and 10 wrote, "But he said to me, My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weakness, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weakness, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then am I strong." For today's encouragement, I'd just like to simply remind you of this. You don't have to be perfect. The fact of the matter is we can't anyway, so why try? You are worthy today. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of love from the Father, and you're worthy of love from other people. You're worthy today of happiness. Our happiness shouldn't be dependent upon what anyone else thinks of us, but more importantly, it shouldn't be dependent upon whether or not we measure up with some imaginary ideal in our mind. God doesn't want us to have to get to a certain point before He deems us worthy of happiness. He deems you worthy right now. And you are also worthy of rest. You know, it's absolutely exhausting trying to measure up. It takes a lot of effort and energy. The good news is you're worthy as you are. So you don't have to strive and you don't have to struggle. You know what? Today's encouragement is you're not perfect. And the good news is you don't have to be. Matter of fact, God says He can use us the most if we're not. So if you're flawed today, if you're watching this looking around at a messy house or messy clothes or a life that's just not that put together, rejoice. Because in your weakness, God's strength can show through. And you're just where God needs you so that He can love you as you are. Guys, y'all have a great week and see you later.